Hey everybody, MilX here, and welcome to my first scripted video. That's right, I finally decided to write a script for something like this, and unfortunately, the game to have this quote-unquote honor is Roblox's hot new game, Grow a Garden. If you know me, I'm sure you'll assume I despise this game, and you'd be absolutely correct. However, I did play it for two reasons. One, there's a bee lady, and two, I did want to give the game a fair shot. I saw many people on my friends list playing it, so, and the player counts this thing has been getting has been like straight up breaking the Roblox site for me, so, I mean, it has to be doing something right, right? And after gawking at the Bee Queen, I threw away all preconceived notions I had of Girl Garden and just started playing. But I didn't exactly have the most vanilla experience because I was almost immediately swarmed by like 3 friends and they gave me a bunch of random crops that sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Safe to say I kinda skipped the early game, though from what little I played of it, it didn't seem all that interesting. So, after playing for a couple weeks, what are my thoughts on the game? Well, let's start on the positives. Don't worry, this isn't gonna last long. For one, I quite enjoyed the visual of the plants growing, particularly some of the flowers from the flower seed packet, but also some others, like the violet corn, or just like the corn plant in general. I don't quite know how to put it, but I guess I just kind of like how it feels so intricate in a way. It's hard to explain. I mean, of course, not all crops do this right. For just like the mango, kind of just look like they're slowly growing through a mold rather than like actually growing as like growing bigger, and it's kind of off-putting. But it's not like a big deal. The next thing I enjoy is the varying crop sizes that they can grow into. It does help to like immerse you a little bit more because I mean crops in real life definitely don't always grow into the same size. So I do kind of like that aspect of randomness. It's something that I feel other gardening games could help to implement actual like dynamic sizes that actually like that you can see and not just like a weight number. Some pets in the game are also pretty cute, and that's about it. Yeah, those are pretty much the only things that I liked about the game. So, with those out of the way, we can finally get into the myriad of things that I don't like. Let's get the elephant out of the room first, the slud spam. I don't like using the word slop lightly. In fact, I often scoff at people who throw the term around and eventually just dumb down its meaning. And because those kinds of people are dense, I'll say it very clearly right now. If you call quirky, harmless cosplays of Roblox characters retro slop, or like if you call a game that has the stud texture retro slop, you should be hung, drawn, and quartered in game. Now that I've got that out of the way, Grow a Garden is the definition of retro slop. I'll call it that. Now, I'm not a retro Roblox player. I don't have any attachment to old Roblox, and I find people who do rather silly, but to each their own. However, I definitely know that these studs being spammed everywhere and being cut off just looks downright wrong, and is obviously just a shallow attempt to pander to the people with rose tinted glasses, I guess. I genuinely haven't seen a single person who likes the stud texture being ejaculated all over the surfaces of every part of this game, and I have seen images of a plugin that removes the stud texture entirely, and it looks infinitely better. While I don't think this single handedly makes the game horrible, it most certainly is a mark against it. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into one of my main issues with the actual game itself. It gets stale quickly. There's not really many things to shake up the gameplay loop of just waiting. It's either waiting for a plant or pet to grow up, or an item in one of the shops to come in stock, or waiting for an item to craft, and all that to get slightly higher amounts of money to repeat the process forever and ever. I won't lie, it can be a pretty fun gameplay loop sometimes, but it wears itself out quickly, and is only really made mildly more fresh by the events. In other words, this game lives and dies by its limited time events, which is absolutely unsustainable. The game might be growing now, but how long until someone looks at the game and decides I've already missed out on so much? Why bother getting into it now? I think this is proven given the fact that the current summer harvest event, at least as time of recording, is effectively a rerun of previous events because they know that they will get people who initially wrote the game off for that reason to come back thinking it's their last chance to get these limited items. It most definitely takes advantage of FOMO. For those unaware, FOMO stands for fear of missing out. That kind of like worried feeling you get when there's any sort of limited time event going on because you feel like you're gonna get into it. You gotta get into it before it's over, you know. Unsurprisingly, Grow Garden, being a game that always has some kind of event on 24/7, takes full advantage of FOMO, which I believe to be quite a predatory tactic, especially to use on children. And, well, is it no wonder that the game gets a spike in player count whenever an event comes out? Oh, and while we're on the player count, can we talk about how proud the developers are of quote unquote breaking the world record for concurrent players over and over? I mean, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be, but I am saying that they're completely false in their assumption. It's no secret that Grow Garden is quite heavily botted. There's screenshots of plenty of default accounts with gibberish names filling up servers in the last hour of every update because that's when the devs stock the shop with all the high-end plant seeds and gears and such. And God knows how many of those are in private servers. We're just seeing the ones that end up spilling out into the public servers. There's no way the devs aren't aware of this, and they're probably just putting up a facade of ignorance to fool people that they are out of the loop into thinking the game is more popular than it is. Yes, the game is popular, but the player count is an absolute lie. I mean, I don't really have any definitive way of proving it because there's no like charts like there is on Steam. I can't really pull like a zesty Jesus with this, but I think it's pretty damn obvious. And lastly, for those who say that Jandel worked hard on a game, that he had 8 years of experience, the sort, this is not what 8 years of experience in game development looks like. This is what 8 years of analyzing other Roblox games for what works and what doesn't, and shoving them all into a hodgepodge of a game to create popularity. The pets, the idle nature of the game, the randomness of progression, the limited time events, all contributing to making the game popular. And while that is most certainly a pretty admirable feat, it also goes against what Roblox strive for in the first place: innovation. I mean, that's pretty obvious that Roblox has long since left that tagline, but still. There's plenty of significantly less popular games out there, and sure, they make mistakes. Some take a long time to update, some aren't for everybody, and some just have developers that don't really know how to do things properly. But you know what? At least they're doing something new. There's passion, effort, and exploration of the near infinite possibilities a game can be. They're pushing the boundaries of what can be done in their genre, and yet they don't even get a fraction of the attention Grow a Garden is getting. Roblox isn't just not taken seriously because of how many like child predators they are and their poor moderation, but also the fact that they let games like Grow a Garden proliferate and be the face of the platform, giving it a bad name. Games that are nothing but pandering slop designed slowly to squeeze as much money out of its child player base as humanly possible. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. I don't really think there's much anyone but Roblox themselves can do about this issue. Though, if you are interested in playing some actually good Roblox games made by actually creative people, I'll throw a couple of my favorites in the description. Spoiler alert, they're mostly tower defense games, but I think you kind of expected that from me by now. Anyways, that's all from me. I am out.